Hello, learner. Welcome once again to the GES Digital Intervention Program for Senior High School. This is Social Studies Lesson 4 on the topic Political Independence and Self-Reliance. I am your facilitator, Auntie Amaki. Take a look at the quotation on the screen. Think deeply about it and tell me who made this quote. Yes, you are right. This is a quotation by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's foremost president. What does this statement mean to you? Well, this statement carries a lot of deeper meanings, and you will have to reflect deeply to be able to come out with the true meaning of the statement. Does that give you a clue of what we are about to discuss today? Well, as you think of our lesson for today, take a look at our keywords. Misconstrued, reliant, nepotism, and sabotage. These are the keywords that we might come across in today's lesson. Take note of them, look them up, and use them in new sentences. In today's lesson, we will discuss at least 4 mistakes Ghanaians made after independence and state at least 3 reasons why Ghanaians made those mistakes. I'm sure you remember that our lesson is about political independence and self-reliance, and therefore, we want to look at the concept political independence. It is the freedom that a country gains from colonial masters to govern herself and have control over all her internal and external affairs. The related concept is self-reliance. And when we say self-reliance, we mean the ability on the part of a country to depend mainly on her own resources for survival or development. I hope you took note of the word mainly. It means that a self-reliant person should have the capacity to provide majority of her own needs without relying heavily on other people. Now remember that political independence must be accompanied by self-reliance. Now the question is, Ghana is politically independent. Is Ghana self-reliant? Think about it. State one thing that, in your opinion, makes Ghana a self-reliant country. Well, what was the outcome of your exercise? I guess you were able to discover 1 or 2 things that convinces you about Ghana's self-reliance. Well, there are other people who argue that Ghana is not self-reliant, and they give a number of reasons. We will find out as we progress with the lesson. We now want to look at the mistakes Ghanaians made after independence. One of the mistakes that Ghanaians are said to have made after independence is having a knowledge-based education. As I said earlier, there are others who think that Ghana is not as self-reliant as it should be. And this is the reason they give for that. Now, after the colonial master had left, we failed to restructure our educational system to reflect the needs and aspirations of the Ghanaian people. And therefore, our education for a long time was knowledge-based. We did not pay much attention to technical and vocational education that would have equipped our citizens with the relevant skills and values necessary to grow our economy and develop it. Now, another major mistake that Ghanaians made after independence is political dictatorship. That after the colonial masters had left and the citizens felt that they had a new crop of leadership who were Ghanaian and felt their needs, they were disappointed to have the new political leadership abusing their rights. And this caused the citizens to lose faith in the new government. Another mistake the Ghanaians committed after independence was negative attitude towards work. Remember, as it happens to all of us, Ghanaians felt that the colonial masters were their major headache, and that when the colonial masters left the scene, they were going to be free. As a result, when the colonial masters left, the Ghanaian, instead of acquiring the necessary skills and contributing positively to the development of the economy, began to exhibit negative attitudes towards work. Some of these negative attitudes that have persisted till today include lateness to work, pilfering at work, and not going to work regularly. All these constitute some of the mistakes that Ghanaians are said to have made after independence. Are there more? Yes, there are. We have sabotage, nepotism, military intervention, and unfavorable policies. Yes, others are sabotage, nepotism, military coup d'etats or military interferences, and then unfavorable policies. And why do we say these are mistakes? They are mistakes because they created further problems for the Ghanaian economy. And we also say they are mistakes because we believe that Ghanaians did not understand the real implications of independence. And therefore, when the independence eventually came, they didn't have the needed values to be able to build the economy. And so began to engage in activities that did not augur well for the growth of the country. Now, why did they commit these mistakes? We have said a lack of proper understanding of the concept of independence. And we all do. Young people as you are, have always craved for independence from your parents. And yet you fail to appreciate the fact that once you gain that independence, you will be required to provide for your own self. Another reason why Ghanaians are believed to have made these mistakes is deception. And this happened when the fighters of independence made it seem to the Ghanaian people that once the colonial master is out of the way, everything was going to be rosy. Another reason for the mistakes is the impatient attitude of the Ghanaian. We forgot that it takes time to build a country. We forgot the saying that Rome was not built in a day. And therefore, we mounted unnecessary pressure on the new leadership. And this created problems for us as a country. Another reason for the mistakes are that even though the colonial masters had left the Ghanaian community, their influences persisted through the structures that they established. As a result, we followed their policies, and this didn't allow us to become independent and self-reliant. We continue to look up to the colonial master for funding, for ideas, for support. And these led to some of the mistakes that we committed after independence. I hope you have followed the lesson up to this point. Very well. Before we end today's lesson, I want you to take this model question. And it reads, state 4 mistakes Ghanaians made after independence. And the B part says, discuss 4 reasons why Ghanaians made those mistakes. I'm sure with the points that we have discussed so far, you will be able to answer such a question when you meet one. Very well. Now to our examination tip. Where a candidate is supposed to list, mention, or name, they are not supposed to explain. I hope you took note of that. When you are required to list, or when you are asked to list, name, or mention, it means that you are not supposed to explain. A further explanation will not earn you any marks. Okay, learners, that's all time will allow us for today. I'm happy coming your way, and I hope to see you again in another lesson.